Hello friends, welcome back to my new episode on function part 2. And today this episode is going to be interesting, and as you can see that today I'm going to discuss quite new interesting topics that we can hardly find in other programming languages. So first is optional arguments, and very new in Julia, uh, in programming actually, evaluation scope of default values, keyword arguments, and last but not the least, special operator functions. So let's dive in. And I made a file, uh, function underscore p2.jl, and here is our first topic: optional arguments and evaluation scope of default values. So first we have to understand that what is optional argument for function. So this is a very typical example of function, but if you noticed already, you may have seen that this is a parameter y and the data type is int64, but this is not I am highlighting over here, but this is another parameter. Second parameter is type is int64 and with a equal sign and a value. And for D we are doing the same kind of, we are assigning a value in the formal parameter list. And then those are the usual tasks you want to do. I imported a package called dates, and I am validating the year, month and day. Then based upon the output I am generating an if section, and if everything is fine I am just creating a date object out of those ymd value and returning it. That's all what I am doing over here. But what is important is that I can call this function with this line of code, and you already noticed that the myDate function is expecting 3 parameters, but I am passing only 1 parameter, and this is called, and this is a fundamental of optional argument. So when in the parameter list, if the developer mention some value using the equal sign, then those parameters become optional. Okay, and during the call you don't have to mention all the other values. So there are a lot of use cases that I can talk about, but to cut the length of this video, I already made some examples with date. So let's say you want to work with dates and where only year is important, then you don't have to worry about all the other parameters. Likewise, where year and month is important, like some loan EMI, you are writing some application for banks where EMI month is important, not the date. And the last variant where I am passing everything. So when user pass a value for an argument and which has a default value, the default value will be overwritten. And now let's run the program. Yeah, so as you can see, when, sorry for the spelling mistake, when year matters, when year and month important, and when everything is important. Now I'll focus on the next topic, in fact subtopic of optional value, evaluation scope of default values. This is very new in any of the programming language. that we used to work in daily basis. So this is very important syntax that we can see over here. So what it is doing, so x is a positional mandatory argument, and then a is an optional argument which is accepting b. Instead of a constant, it can accept a variable, and another optional argument which is accepting constant when the value is missing. Now we need to understand what is that, whether this b is referring to this variable or anything else. And according to Julia, the b will not refer this argument or this parameter in the parameter list. Instead it will refer a variable which will resides in its caller context. And to test it out, let us have a check. So as you can see, I am printing out x, a and b value and have a run. So x is 1 equal to 10, b equal to 1. So x is equal to 1, b equal a equal to b, but I am passing 10, so a is not waiting for some b variable. Instead a is accepting a as a value, and for b we have a default value 1, so we can have a, b, c as 1. And now the next important part, let me uncomment this. So what if we pass only 2? And as I just told you that b is not referring to this b, instead it is trying to refer a b which is in its parent context or the caller context. So here in this scope we do not have any variable named b, so now it is expected to be a syntax error. And let us have a look what is happening. Yes, so a syntax error happened and undefined variable b. So when a is trying to assign a default value from b and b doesn't available in the scope, and then it is throwing an error, like you are trying to use a variable which is not defined, and that's why we have this. And now we can see these three interesting example where we have b in the scope and I am passing 3, so the expected output would be 3, 30 and 1, and for this the output would be 4, 40 and 1, and for this the output should be 5, 50 and 500. And let us have a look what is happening. Yep, so 3, 30 and 1, 4, 40 and 1, then 5, 50 and 500. Now we are about to end this video with this last and fine topic. So Julia did lot of things, lot of interesting things with this language, and in Python or in JavaScript we already know about the optional argument. In fact, in the newer version of C++ as well as Java also support optional argument or with default value. Julia also supports something called keyword argument, and this means that when you are trying to call a function, here you may have noticed the semicolon. So now when you are trying to call a function, then the position matters. And what if you did some typo error and the values you are passing is twisted, then the whole output will be different. As we can see, this is the old mydate function. Here I am calling it with 2021 4 and 10, and the same function calling with 2021 10 and 4. Then if we run this, those two are different date, as we all know. Yeah, oh sorry, I didn't save. So those are two different. 2021 April of 10th, 2021 October 4th. Now with keyword argument, so this is the new version MyDate 2. Here you can name the argument when passing the variable value, sorry. So in this way you can have the same result each and every time. So this is quite interesting. Those who are from Python background, you may have noticed that you can do this with very easily, but this is quite interesting to share. So that's all for this video, and let me know your experiments in the comment, and I put some information in the description. Have a good day. Bye.